Good evening, all. We'll wait for a few more minutes so that more participants can join, and then we'll start. Good evening, one and all. We warmly welcome you to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development. Yeah, we welcome you all once again to international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development on occasion of World Social Work Month and World Health Month 2022, and commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and also International Conference on Social Work and Sciences towards One Health and Sustainable Development, in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Today we have with us another wonderful speaker. Before we start the proceedings, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
The blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to the today's proceedings. Today we have eminent speaker with us, Sri R.J. Haribabu, is district family counselor and also Central Social Welfare Board, Tirupur, Tamil Nadu, psychologist and managing director at Headfulness Counseling Center, Tirupur, and also a Rotarian. We welcome you, sir, once again to deliver your session on personal life balance. Over to you.
Thank you so much for welcoming me and giving me a great honor to give a discussion on personal life balance. So I want all the participants to be much interactive because I want more interactive with people to know each people's perspective on the topic of personal life balance. So what do you think about this personal life? Why is so important? Anybody can share it on it, this opinion? Why you think you should have the personal life balance? Any idea?
You can use chat box or unmute yourself and speak. You can unmute yourself. Otherwise, you can raise your hand.
Hi, sir. Actually,
Yes, ma'am.
there is a life like personal life and work life. If both goes together, only we can achieve in profession. If we leave our personal life, we give importance for work life. We leave our personal life, then these problems are happening in the family. Then if we give too much for negligence for work means in work we are having problems. So we should balance. We should plan it out very well. Before we take any task, we should how much time I'm going to give for family, how much time I'm going to give for work. We should plan out before day only. We should plan out what I'm going to do. planning is very important, sir.
Okay, fine. So, as ma'am told, we should have a proper balance in their personal, professional, whatever aspect we are planning for. It can be an economical balance, it can be a personal life balance, it can be a family structure or whatever it is. There should be a protocol which should be maintained in all aspects of our life. In whichever criteria, in whichever areas we are feeling so crisis, or whichever areas we feel very lower, we have to create a sustainable plan to overcome the crisis or to overcome the achievements of a personal balance or economical balance. All these things has to be planned according to the crisis or according to the need where you are lacking. So in this criteria, will be imbalance either in a personal or professional. Because professional also we have certain limits of targets, certain protocols of targets, or certain pressures from the professional life. At the same time, we have a lot of pressure from the family aspect. Like we have a lot of comments from their family circle. Will be a lot of orders from our elder people. All these things will be carrying out. In this criteria, where we have to connect the bridge between this personal life and professional life is we have to rule out our plans according to the day by day basis. Instead of planning for a month, instead of planning for a week, we have to create a structure or we have to plan according to the day to day activities. Once you create the plans or once you create planning the structure or planning the timetable for the day to day basis, you can find out where are the works to be done, how to be ruled out, how to structure the timing, how to structure the aspects of work which has to be done. So when you plan the structures of the day-to-day activities, it will be helpful for you to rule out how to rule out the problems which is not going to come in your future, or how to resolve the issues, how to resolve the problems which can come, which cannot come. So all these things we have to put in a mind and we have to plan for it. So as the days goes on, as the months or years or weeks, as the days goes on, you will be having like some kind of letters should be needed, some kind of other activities than this personal and professional. I need something like to carry out to ventilate my emotions and feelings. All these things will be having it. So in that period of time, what we have to do is, in the weekly basis, we have to have a let out. As we have to go in a family basis. If you are married, we can go it in a family basis every weekend. It's not necessary that you need to go for only for purchase or only for something when you have something to do it. It's not like that. We have to ventilate our emotions and feelings. We have to ventilate our pressures from our mind, from our body. So in this aspect, what we can do is create a trip that just ride in a bike or just ride in a car or whatever it is. As you travel, discuss about the new things, what you observe outside, what you observe throughout the environment, wherever you go, what you want, what is this, what is the new invention has come into this society, what are the new products has been arrived. Just have a discussion about whether it is needed for our personal life, whether it is needed for a professional basis. Like that, you create a discussion on the topics which you want. So when you create this kind of topics, you will have the pressures will be released. When you create different kinds of topics other than discussing always about the personal and professional, all these things, you create whatever you observe. You discuss. You have a discussion about it, whether it's required for me or it is not required. If you require, how will you plan to buy it? What are the plans? How to manage the economic? How to manage the future pros and cons of this economical basis? All these things we can plan. We have a discussion other than the personal and professional. Whenever you come back from your office, we'll be having only discussion about what is happening in the office, what is happening in the home, all this blah 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 again and again. You are grinding the same matters again and again and again. So once upon a time, at the end of the time, what will happen is you will get into a fed up by hearing the same information. So and so has said this information. So and so has done bad to me. So and so has done blame on me. All these kinds of things will be happening again and again. when you do these sorts of things again and again, it will be in a very, very hectic for you to balance your professional and personal. In this time of period, what we have to do is day to day basis, we have to have a plan, and day to day basis, we have to create our brain mapping, like how to structure the plan of work, how to structure the plan of next day work. If you have the work and if you have any important works of banks, or if you have any personal works of related to any paying bills, all these things we have to be planned by a making a map according to the plan. So while you create this kind of imaginative on creativity basis, you structure your plans, you will be not facing any imbalance in this personal life and professional life balance. So whenever you are planning according to it, we have to discuss. It should not be in a domination of role, or it should not be in a personal role. It should be between each other. If you are a family members of husband and wife, there should be a mutual discussion, other than creating some controversies, other than creating some showing some egos, showing some what to say dominance. So all these things has to be eradicated while having a plans of discussion among your personal and professional or whatever in basis. So nowadays, I have seen lot of cases coming with lot of ego issues, domination. There is not a mutual understanding, and there is a kind of some kind of maladjustment in the family issues. All these sorts of things has been rising in day-to-day life, where this equality has come into this. So these equality problems always rising again and again and again. So to eradicate it, we have to plan by hearing the your personal loved ones, people, comments or any ideas, any suggestions. If you are not doing or you're doing it, that is not a matter, but you have to accept the points. In some other ways, you have to take into it to do a consideration. Once you each and every time when you consider it, you are solving your issues, which you are not creating any kind of issues in your personal life. So even though if you are doing, even though if the point is not apt to the criteria or apt to the situation, you take it and create some discussion on it. Okay, you have said this point. Okay, how can you make it this into this criteria? What is making you to bring come into this point of ideas? All these kinds of things we can discuss on the points which are not able to take into the action. So in this mannerism, we can discuss, okay, if I do in this criteria, what will be happening? What is the pros and cons? In these kind of things, we can discuss when you're not able to accept the point of your loved ones. So in so situation, we can to accept it, and we have to accept and we have to convince the person who has given the point. So in this criteria, if we are all for doing these kind of things, we can come out of the unwanted problems which are going to create. So in this situation, we have to follow the brain mapping. We have to structure our timetable. We have to have a particular discussion, frequent discussion, other than the personal and professional life. And we have to have a ventilate of emotions, feelings, and your problems, which is not going to happen if you're always discussing and sitting in the home. That is creating a lot of negative aspects. After a certain period of time, that may lead to thoughts of suspicious ideas, that may create some kind of doubt on some people. When you're in office, when you're coming in late period of time, all sorts of things, all sorts of unnecessary, unwanted items will create. That will create an male adjustment problems in the family. Whenever you have always, you're not considering your personal loved ones, or you're not considering your family members, your children, all these things, always you're sitting in seeing the mobile, and you're having your own privacy, own space, all these things. When you avoid and when you create your own independence and own privacy, that may also lead to a lot of various problems, that you always have a chat with your friends, you don't consider about the family. All sorts of things will be creating lot of blah 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 stories. So once after a period of time, then when your wife or whoever it is sitting in home taking care of the family, they'll be more excited. When my husband comes, I want to share some things. I want to share about my feelings and emotions. I want to share about what all happened today. But that if that does not happen, after a period of time, the suppression that may lead to a depression. That suppression, what is happen is they will not able to express their ideas, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. All these things will be suppressed, suppressed, suppressed. Once upon a time, after a period of time, when you go and say that what happened there or something like that, when you ask, they'll say, "What? What do you want? Oh, you're coming and asking me now." So that kind of triggering moment will rise at any moment. That time you cannot go and show your kind of affection or whatever love and affection, caring. You cannot show it because the suppression is slowly will come out of in a period of moment. That 1 second of moment will change a total aspect of the family. This total aspect of the family will start breaking into a pieces of different places. That pieces will move you to different directions. So it's very, very difficult when you're not able to coordinate, when you're not able to come into a sync to make a mutual understanding. There it becomes a big boom on your life that brings you a bigger tragedy in your life. Then that the information will transfer to other people who are close to your family, and again your neighborhoods, your colleagues. All these things will be spread like a fire, like a fire. So to avoid all these circumstances, the mutual understanding, the consideration of each other, the concern about each other should be maintained in a proper gap and proper level. If that is not proper, then the root cause for all this personal life imbalance and professional life imbalance will begin from your ego level, dominance level, and your what to say, and not considering your family members or not considering the family aspect, family ideas. There only the root cause begins. So when we all go into the family counselings of having these kind of personal and professional issues, the root cause begins with ego issues. There will be a 2 to 4 years difference of marital life, difference between the husband and wife. But when they come into a session of counseling, we will be going with the histories of what is the presenting problems, compliance, all sorts of things will be going into it. But one at the end of the point, what will be the reason is the root cause will be in a ego state that you should listen to me. No, 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 you should listen to me. Like this, then controversies will be creating. At the certain period, someone has to give up, someone has to take up. So like this, if you give and take policy is happening in a proper medium, then no crisis will happen in your personal life. You can have a lead, you can lead a better and prosperous life. So, to avoid all the circumstances, the simple and basic level is don't put out your ego level. Don't show off your dominance. When you come into the family aspect, the balance is when you're not showing out your ego, when you're not putting out your dominance, then your personal life balance will be so appropriate. So if you tackle this all these basics and simple ideas and simple strategies, when you come out of it, you can find a better and better, more vulnerable progress in your personal life. So all these things keep in mind, take it into words and put it into action. Words are easy, but when you make it in action, is very difficult. So kindly, other than taking into words, put it in action. When you put it in action, you will have some kind of difficulties. When you find some difficulties, take an alternate direction to come out of the issues. Once you find any difficulties in putting it to action, in that time, don't degrade yourself. I'm not capable to do these sorts of things. I'm not able to do this. What can I do? Don't feel low. Don't degrade yourself. Don't decrease your self esteem. Don't decrease your self motivation. All these things don't eradicate from you. You can do it. Make a statement that you have achieved something in your life. Don't create any kind of motivative statements in a present tense. always have your motivating statement in a past tense. Once you create the statement in a past tense manner, there will be a trigger from your heart, bottom of your heart, that you want to do something in your life, but something is lacking you to achieve in your life. That trigger comes that will give you a gap to put your thoughts to make it into action. Once you get that moment, you're trying to achieve something. So the heart or the way will be expanded to make your thoughts into action. So once you get into the moment, you can be able to achieve your plans into action. Once the plans are getting into action, then you are able to achieve your goals in your life. There are basic goals like first of all, should have shelter, food, and basic things. Then psychological needs, physical needs, all these things. Once you come out of six hierarchy, it's said to be in a psychology. We will say as hierarchy. When you complete all these six basic needs, you will be having a actualized. You will be self-actualized theory. So when you complete all these basic things, you are achieved in your life. So you should complete each stages. First, you should have the basic needs. Then you should have the physiological needs, psychological needs, and so on. So will be building up. Then once you reach all these six goals, then you will be reaching the self-actualized. So that means you have been achieved your life goals. So these are the things when you do it, you can achieve the balance of personal and professional life balance. Thank you. Any doubts so far? Till now, any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So the simple basic level of doing is have some kind of physical mannerism of activities in day to day. In the morning and evening, go for some kind of basic stretch outs, basic kind of exercise, physical movements, because most of the people are doing work with sitting position for a longer duration. That also give you a lot of a bad impression and negative impression on your life balance. So morning when you get up, go and do some certain 10 to 15 minutes of walk in your terrace or go for some kind of walk in outside. So to balance you to get a fresh and positive mindset to go for your professional job. Then after that in the evening time, when you have some time, go come and refresh yourself and have a walk like 8 or something like that, move some movements. Then do some worship towards your based on your religion or based on your thing, have some worship towards the god that something has gone some I have done some so and so, so I'm happy to end my day with these sorts of things like that. Have some positive thoughts towards your almighty. So when you keep on doing this positive way of affirmation towards all the people, so automatically the positive thoughts and positive vibes will be surrounded by you always. So even though when you have some kind of things, have some any kind of discussion within you people in a proper manner. When you have a heat discussion, don't have it in your personal room. Have it in a common place like the hall or something like that. So even though if you have any kind of controversies, any kind of negative discussion has been taken place, have some kind of positive vibrations or positive smell giving aromas giving like agarbattis or something like sambrani, something like that. You can do it. You can have it in that room where you are going to sleep or something like that. So that kind of smell will give you a positive vibe that may lead you to take a good sleep in your night time. That will not give you any kind of distractions. So always will be giving some kind of positive vibes among your environment. So if that is not happening, then you can do like a Om Namah Shivaya or something like Hallelujah, doing something kind of things. Have it in a repeated mode of songs or music system. You put it in a place where you can have a mild tone. It will be keep on ringing. That vibration also give you a pleasant and positive vibes. That will give you a balance in your professional, personal, mental, physical, all kind of balance will be gained from that kind of concept. So if you do all these kinds of practice, we can achieve success in our life. Thank you all.
Thank you, Haribabuji.
Thank you,
A
sir.
wonderful session. So, in spite of all these things, also we fail to manage. Then, what do you suggest?
So in that also, these are the basic steps which we can do it. If they try to adopt themselves, they can avoid by getting them into a major kind of disturbance or major kind of struggles in their life. These are the basic, simple techniques. They are not able to do it regularly. At least they have to do in alternative days.
Yeah, well said, sir. Like everyone is now after COVID, everyone has different kind of challenges which are
Yes, sir.
additional to the COVID situations. And many people lost their loved ones in the families, and many people lost their employment, lost their income, almost 1-2 years income they lost. So all these challenges, it's very much necessary to manage themselves and also manage their work life and personal life. It's very important topic in a sense. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself or you can put in chat box. Feel free to discuss. Or if you have any similar experiences where you couldn't cope it up, or you have coped up, managed, you were able to manage, you can share your experiences as well. Okay, if there are no queries, then anything else you would like to contribute, Haribabuji, before concluding?
So no, sir. No, sir. Everything has been concluded.
So we'll be having another session at 6:30. So kindly be logged in so that our next speaker will be joining at 6:30. And we thank our speaker, Sri R.J. Haribabuji, for the wonderful session on behalf of Sri Holistic Health Foundation and also Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. And on behalf of all the participants, sir, thank you for accepting our invitation and joining us and contributing wonderful session for everyone. Sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me a great opportunity to give a talk on personal life balance, which is more important in today's life. So many of them are missing the each moments of their life to cherish due to this ego and dominance and equality. So that was my idea to give some sorts of ideas to help our society to bring a better society.
Yes, true. Nowadays, what I observed is many people are taking even small things also personally. They're destroying their own people. I mean, within the family also, this is happening nowadays. Even they are having, I mean, a lot of discomfort. I mean, lot of miscommunication, communication gaps within the family. Also, I see between the parents and children. Nowadays, these things are increasing. So maybe we need to address not only within externally, but also internally, also within the family also. This need to be properly addressed. There is a greater need.
Yes, sir. Most of the time, what is happening is there's not a the husband and wife not taking a self decision or discussion between the discussion about the topics. All are kept by their parents, active or family members. They are concentrating on their suggestion of their family members. Once the family members' input has been taken into action, then only the controversies create.
Yes.
Nowadays, there is no proper communication or proper discussion between husband and wife. Husband gets suggestion from their family members, and wife gets suggestion from their family members. That family member suggestions are coming to an action. That creates a problem, sir.
Yeah, even in many diverse cases also, like you mentioned,
Yes, sir.
both families take their own stand, and I mean, there is a great effort. In spite of great effort also, no one comes to compromise. So families are breaking down and marriages are breaking down.
Even though the parents also had a struggles in their personal life, but they want their daughters to be happy life. How long will this happen? Till they are in life, they can have make their daughters feel happy. After that, who is going to take care? They are not thinking about the future. They are thinking about only the present situation. That is the main issue to that is not coming into compromise, sir.
Yeah, that is also true. Everyone has to be independent in their this thing, and they need to have their own family, children. So that also aspect also they have to think in a broader way, because challenges,
Yes.
challenges, we all have challenges, but those challenges should not prevent us to in going further or taking up future.
Everybody wants instant solution, not a prolonged solution.
Uh, that is making more people very selfish, mean,
Yes,
taking shortcuts that are creating more problems, stress,
yes,
anxiety.
sir.
These things are very important.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much once again.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Your convenience, you can stay back for.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So participants, let's wait till another 15 minutes so that next speaker will be joining. Yeah, we welcome you all to the second session. Today we have Mrs. Divya Bharati. She will be, she is psychologist and also a nurse. She will be taking a session on social determinants of health. Over to you, Divya.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So today I would like to share with you about some details regarding social determinants of health. Previously, during World Health Day, we learned about the different uh, what are the uh, what are the needs is required in health. So to maintain a proper health, so what are the domains we have to focus we learned. So here today I'm going to focus on only social determinants. So here we know that health is a multifactorial, that is physical, mental, social, spiritual. So many domains we talk about it. So many factors have an influence on health. The factors which influence health lie both within the individual and externally in the society in which he or she lives. So it is a truism to say that what man is under to what diseases he may fall victim depends on a combination of two sets of factors. So first one is genetic factors and the second one is environmental factors. Genetic factors, we know that heredity, from heredity to whom we are born and where we are born, so that all things come into influence our health. And in environmental factors, the environment where we are exposed, how we are bring up, growing, become, and how we are, uh, where we are living, and what job we are doing, and what is the age. So these all are things come under environmental factors. So these factors interact and these interactions may be health promoting or deleterious. And thus conceptually the health of individuals and whole communities may be considered to be the result of many interactions. So we'll see what are the determinants of health. The broad range of personal, social, economic, and environmental factors that determine individual and population health. The main determinants of health are income and social status, employment and working conditions, education and literacy, childhood experiences, physical environment, social support and coping skills, healthy behaviors, access to health services, biology and genetic endowment, that is heredity, and gender and culture and racism. And coming to the social determinants of health, so refer to a specific group of social and economic factors within the broader determinants of health. So complete social and economical factors will come under this influence our health. The majority of the world's people health status is determined primarily by their level of socio-economic development. So per capita GNP means the persons means what is the um, means economically for the total population, there is a different GNP given in different countries. For example, in India, per individual, if we take that is around 300 change, it will come. And if we are taking in Switzerland, it will come 43,000, it will come. So that the socio-economical that GNP will be different. And the education and employment, housing, the political system of the country, and the experiences of discrimination and racism, historical trauma, food, transport, social support, social gradient, stress, early life, social exclusion, and work. So here, we saw these all are things. So under social determinants, we saw these many things uh, come into this, fall into this. So what we have to do, what are the interventions we have to take? What is the in under this headings? What are the limitations? What are the problems we'll see? So first of all, I would like to tell about interventions or reduction of health inequalities. So there is strengthening the evidence based to inform decision making. Here early childhood development programs is required, and size of the family means there is two children means with the mother and father there is two children, it is acceptable. If more children will be there means that will become a burden to that uh, monitor of that head of the family. And immigrants and public health agencies should increase in rural areas, and engaging beyond the health sectors, and sharing knowledge of action. So we have to increase the health policies, uh, and awareness in the community is required. So uh, here I would like to share with you the true facts. Uh, I researched some books. From that, I gained this knowledge. So first one is a social gradient. So here in social gradient, there is a statement is there. Life expectancy is shorter, and most diseases are more common further down the social ladder in each society. Health policy must tackle the social and economic determinants of health. So here people are further down the social ladder usually run at least twice the risk of serious illness and premature death as those near the top. So social gradient in health runs right across society. So that even middle class office workers, lower ranking staff suffer much more diseases and earlier death than higher ranking staff. Both material and psychosocial causes contribute to these differences, and their effects extend to most diseases and causes of the death. So a disadvantage has many forms and may be absolute or relative. So what are those disadvantages means? Having few family assets, having poorer education during adolescence, and having insecure employment, and becoming stuck in hazardous or dead-end job, and living in poor house, trying to bring up a family in difficulty circumstances, and living on an inadequate retirement pension. And here, what is the policy is required? So here, life contains a series of critical transitions, emotional and material changes in early childhood. The move from primary to secondary education, starting work, leaving home, and starting a family, changing jobs, and facing possibly redundancy and eventually retirement. Each of these changes can affect health by pushing people onto a more or less advantaged path. People who have been disadvantaged in the past are at the greatest risk in each transition. This means that welfare policies need to provide not only safety nets but also springboards to offset earlier disadvantage. So good health involves reducing levels of educational failure, reducing insecurity and unemployment, and improving housing standards. Societies that enable all citizens to play a full and useful role in the social, economic, and cultural life of their society will be healthier than those where people face insecurity, exclusion, and deprivation. So that is about social gradient. Next one, stress. So we know we underwent so much stress day by day. So stressful circumstances making people feel worried, anxious, and unable to cope. are damaging to health and may lead to premature death. So due to stress, there is so many deaths will be going on. So here psychosocial risks are accumulated during life and increase the chance of poor mental health and premature death. Social and psychological circumstances can cause long-term stress. So continuing anxiety, insecurity, low self-esteem, social isolation, lack of control, overwork and home life. So these are the symptoms we can see under stress. So these all most of the people may face under stress, and long periods of anxiety and insecurity and the lack of supportive friendships are damaging in whatever area of life they arise. The lower people are in the social hierarchy of industrialized countries, the more common these problems are. So lower peoples they are facing so much issues regarding this, and psychosocial factors affect the hormones and nervous system. So complete due to stress there is internal hormones will getting disturbed. Due to that psychological health issues arise, from that the physiological symptoms will come. Then it will be it will go into the stress will be in a long term, that will affect in on particular uh, area of the body. So it will be takes a it will be that influence come under one organ, and that may become impaired. Then the functioning will be decreasing, and a brief period of tension doesn't matter, but if people feel tense too often or the tension go too long periods, they become more vulnerable to a wide range of conditions, including infections, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, depression, and aggression. So if too long periods will take place, means these infections, means like this immunity will getting decreased, then they will be easily underwent these diseases. And a medical response to the biological changes that come with the stress might be to try to control them with the drugs. But attention should be focused upstream on tackling the causes of ill health. In schools, businesses, and other institutions, the quality of the social environment and material security are often as important to health as the physical environment. Institutions that can give people a sense of belonging and of being valued are likely to be healthier places than those in which people feel excluded, disregarded, and used. Governments should recognize that welfare programs need to address both psychosocial and material needs. Both are sources of anxiety and insecurity. In particular, governments should support families with young children, encourage community activity, combat social isolation, reduce material and financial insecurity, and promote coping skills in education and rehabilitation. So we have to look after all those things to reduce the stress level. We have to focus on psychological area, the government as well as organization, and then only the psychological stress will reduce. So coming to the next one, early life. So a good start in life means supporting mothers and young children. The health impact of early development and education lasts a lifetime. So observational research and intervention studies show that the foundations of adult health are laid in early childhood and before birth. Slow growth and poor emotional support raise the lifetime risk of poor physical health and reduce physical, cognitive, and emotional functioning in adulthood. Poor early experience and slow growth become embedded in biology during the process of development, and from the basis of the individual biological and human capital, which affects health throughout life. As cognitive, emotional, and sensory inputs program the brain's responses, insecure emotional attachment and poor stimulation can lead to reduced readiness for school. So we are thinking that, for example, a child who is he at 8 years, uh, previously 6 years, after COVID, they are telling that 8 years. So when the child is should go to the school at that time, at that age, if he is not ready to go to the school, then what the people should suspect? They are thinking that what is the problem with him? He is not normal. Something is there, like that. They are talking. But what happened from the birth onwards till that period? There is the what is the cognitive area, emotional area, that sensory inputs, what he had taken from the environment, that influence his thinking, the way of thinking will be getting influenced. So we are telling that a certain that people is very stubborn, that kind of that student, he is not listening anything, not at all. So they are simply telling that statement, but because of his behavior, there is so much environment, so much exposing is happened previous to that child. Then low educational attainment and problem behavior. So these all are, and the risk of social marginalization in adulthood. So what we have to focus here? So what is the policy has to come, means new action is needed to foster health and development early in life, particularly among people in poor social and economic circumstances. Policy should aim to reduce parent smoking, and in metropolitan cities and in some other countries, we can see this females also, they are taking smoking. And we have to reduce the parents smoking. So we have to aware the society, when they are ready to bring up their children, they are ready to conceiving. So what are the plannings will be doing from right itself? The doctor should give this suggestion, and the community people has to aware them to avoid this smoking, and increase parents' knowledge of health and understanding of children's emotional needs, and introduce preschool programs not only to improve reading and stimulate cognitive development, but also to reduce behavior problems in childhood and promote educational attainment, occupational chances, and healthy behavior in adulthood. Involve parents in such preschool programs to reinforce their educational effects and reduce child abuse, and ensure that mothers have adequate social and economic resources, and increase opportunities for educational attainment at all ages, since education is associated with raised health awareness and improved self-care. Investment in these policies would greatly benefit the health and working capacity of the future adult population. And coming to the fourth one, that is social exclusion. So life is uh, short where its quality is poor, by causing hardship and resentment, poverty, social exclusion, and discrimination cost lives. So here, under social exclusion, there is poverty. Uh, so in the poverty, there is absolute poverty is there, relative poverty is there, and the social exclusion. So, what is absolute poverty? So, lack of basic material and necessities of life continues to exist. So, if, for example, unemployed people and the ethnic minority groups, guest workers, disabled people, refugees, homeless people who living in street, the people who living in street. So these all are category of people. They are getting come under absolute poverty. So due to lack of financial support, they undergone premature death more. So that is one of the element. And relative poverty, excuse me. Sorry for the delay. My child is crying. Make him silent. Mhm. So coming to the next one, relative poverty. So relative poverty here, 60% of the national median income will be having. So they are having the access to housing, education, and transport will be there. But even there is being excluded from the life of society and treated as less than equal leads to worse health. So due to this, there is premature death will be occur. And here there is racism will be there under social coming to the social exclusion. So under social exclusion, there is racism will be there, discrimination will be there, stigmatization will be there, hostility will be there, unemployment will be there. So here, what is racism means? Racism we see everywhere. So it will be means it will be affecting a people in much time. Uh, Depend upon their exposure, their environmental, they will get exposure onto racism. So there is whites, blacks, and a differentiation showing that Tamils, Telugus, like that. In so many categories depend upon that the racism will be showing in the community. And the discrimination, there is a discrimination majorly the pregnant ladies who is working outside, and the age means considering age, if age is increasing, not getting job, there is discrimination. And regarding religious, there is means like a Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Musalman, like that there discrimination will do. And sexual harassment is also come under discrimination. So these all are things underwent in the community. And stigmatization. So stigmatization means here unfairly disapproving will show. If a father do some crime, then the stigmatizer to hold the family. And coming to next one, hostility. So here hostility means what they are doing means they are showing unfriendliness, wantedly showing unfriendliness, and there is a war-like feeling. If the person is come in front, they are by their facial expression or the word uttering, so that hostility will show. And unemployment is also one of the social exclusion. So the greater the length of time that people live in disadvantaged circumstances, more suffering from a range of health problems. Mainly the cardiovascular diseases will come. Prevents from participating in education or training and gaining access to services and citizenship activities. And socially, psychologically damaging will be there. And the people who live in uh, are left in institutions such as prisons, children's home, psychiatric hospitals are vulnerable. So greater length of stay leads to more suffer with health problems. So means how much the years if increasing, that much suffering will be there. So poverty is social exclusion increases risk of divorce, separation, disability, illness, addiction, and social isolation. So what policy is required here? So a variety of actions at a number of different levels is needed to tackle the healthy effects of social exclusion. These include the following. Legislation can help protect the rights of migrants and minority groups and prevent discrimination. Public health interventions should remove barriers to access to health care, social services, and affordable housing. And income support and adequate national minimum wages and educational and employment policies are needed to reduce social exclusion. And income and wealth should be redistributed to reduce material inequalities. And the scale of relative poverty, more egalitarian societies tend to have higher standards of health. So coming to the next one, work. So stress in the workplace increases the risk of diseases. People who have more control over their work have better health. In general, having a job is better for health than having no job. So here, social organization of work, management style, and the social relationships in the workplace all matter for health. And the studies show that health suffers when people have little opportunity to use their skills and low decision making authority. Studies show that the role of work demands some shows an interaction between demands and control. Jobs with both high demand and low control carry special risk. Social support in the workplace is required and it will protect the individual. Increased risk of low back pain and sickness and absence and cardiovascular diseases. And inadequate rewards for the efforts put into work has been found to be associated with increased cardiovascular risk. Rewards can take in the form of money, status, and self-esteem. So if lacking these rewards and all, there is a risk of health. And what are the policies is required means there is no trade-off between health and productivity at work. A virtuous circle can be established. Improved conditions of work will lead to a healthier workforce. This will lead to improved productivity and hence to the opportunity to create a still healthier, more productive workplace. Appropriate involvement in decision making is likely to benefit employees at all levels of an organization. Redesigning practices in offices and other workplaces to enable employees to have more control, greater variety, and more opportunities for development at work. Benefits health. Work that does not provide appropriate rewards in terms of money, self-esteem, and status damages health. To reduce the burden of musculoskeletal disorders, workplaces must be appropriate ergonomically as well as in the organization of work. So here our muscles will get means when we are exposing to too much of stress, when we are having unhappy, there is a muscle will getting influenced. So here what will be happening? There is the thinking pattern, what uh, the individual is exposed to continuous problem that will give a pain in certain area of the body. For example, a person who is having the feeling of lack of support, they will having the back pain. So the researchers tell that this is proved. So like this, there is some stomach upset will be there continuously. Some people they are underwent acidity is there, uh, and there is in previous webinar also told that the person who is having negative thinking more, they underwent asthma. So like this, uh, there is our health is getting disturbed. So next one, unemployment. So job security increases health, well-being, and job satisfaction. Unemployed usually shows a higher incidence of ill health and death. So there is lack of uh, self-esteem will go due to unemployment, and the motivation will be getting reduced day by day. The age will increase. There is no job opportunity, and so these will come one by one means one situation will come, then later one by one, that will be leads to a uh, poverty, that is in economically or that is in, in his thinking levels also. There is loss of work, income, and status, insecurity, financial problems, psychological consequences like anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and chronic stress. So here, what is the policy is required means preventing unemployment and job insecurity is required. reducing the hardship suffered by the unemployed, and restoring people to secure jobs. So the government has to take this thing into consideration, and that economy, whatever that will be there, the how much the unemployed people will be there, the government has to look over them, and they has to give a job opportunity to them, and to reduce the highs and lows of the business cycle. So there is a highs and lows in businesses, means uh, uh, I could explain in Telugu a bit better than English. So here we know, means if the person is taking um, that money from the bank, the bank will give a certain money. So that will be for doing some work. So some groups will be there for doing, for example, a vegetable vendor is there. So then to purchase that vegetables, and he selling that vegetables and all, then daily income will rise. And if he is utilize that money properly, then he will do much better than that vegetables. Means one day he purchases less, then when he get that returns, then he will grow into a bigger. So like this, the resources has to be should show by the government, and uh, there is job security should be required, and there is we know that there is so many contract basis, and outsourcing will be given by the government, and several years also they are not getting complete security. And what are the people who is government employees getting so many opportunity, so many advantages is there, means for home allowance or life insurances. So like this, these people are not having. So the job security is also required to uh, uh, gain a good health. And the next one, social support. Here, social support is required for everyone, and friendship, good social relations, and strong supportive networks improve health at home, at work, and in the community. People who get less social and emotional support from others are more likely to experience less well being, more depression, and a greater risk of pregnancy complications and higher levels of disability from chronic diseases. Bad close relationships can lead to poor mental and physical health. So, this focus has to required mostly in adolescent period. So, adolescent girls and boys, and that school children, they don't know how to maintain a relationship with each other. So we a, in the school setup, a teacher, and at home, parents has to be take care about these children. And coming to the social cohesion, so defined what is social cohesion means, defined as the quality of social relationships and the existence of trust, mutual obligations, and respect in communities or in the wider society. A study of a community with initially high level of social cohesion showed low rates of coronary heart diseases, vice versa. So that unity is required. So social unity is required to strengthen the uh, social support, to strengthen the individual to get focused into his works. And what is the policy is required means, experimental studies suggest that good social relations can reduce the physical response to stress. Interventions in high risk groups have shown that providing social support improves outcome after heart attacks, longevity in people with some types of cancers, and pregnancy outcome in vulnerable groups of women. In the community, Reducing income inequalities and social exclusion can lead to greater social cohesiveness and better health in the population. Improving the social environment in schools, the workplace, and the community in general will help people feel valued and supported in more areas of their lives, and will contribute to their health, especially mental health. In all areas of personal and institutional life, practices should be avoided that cast other as socially inferior or less valuable. They are divisive. So coming to the next one, addiction. So individuals turn to alcohol, drugs, and tobacco and suffer from their use. But use is influenced by the wider social setting. So here completely the addiction will, we know that addiction, how it will become addiction means the certain substance which they are using, the brain cells will getting addicted to that such substance, and it will for the pleasure of to get that pleasure, the people are frequently consuming these things. So here there is different substances will be there, depend upon the availability that the people who is underwent psychosocial disturbances, they will take easily these things. And drug use is both a response to social breakdown and an important factor in worsening the resulting inequalities in health. Alcohol, drugs, tobacco increases harsh economic and social condition. We know that there is these substances are very expensive. Even they are for that getting that pleasure, they are taking everything and putting on uh, that things, alcohol or drugs on that. They are putting and vanishing all their economical status, and increasing smuggling, thefting, and crime will be increased. And what is the policies required here means work to deal with the drug problems needs not only to support and treat people who have developed addictive patterns of use, but also to address the patterns of social deprivation in which the problems are rooted. Policies need to regulate availability through pricing and licensing. For instance, to inform people about less harmful forms of use, to use health education to reduce recruitment of young people, and to provide effective treatment services for addicts. None of these will succeed if the social factors that breed drug use are left unchanged. Trying to shift the whole responsibility onto the user is a clearly inadequate response. This blames the victim rather than addressing the complexities of the social circumstances that generate drug use. Effective drug policy must therefore be supported by the broad framework of social and economic policy. So coming to the next one about food. So here, because global market forces control the food supply, healthy food is a political issue. So we know that there is organic and inorganic food is there. So organic food is very costly and inorganic food is very cheap. And organic food, it is very tasty and easily cooking. And inorganic food that is looking very attractively but easily getting what destroying, and it will not be it will be harmful to health. Why? Because it's bring up by chemicals. So we know all those things. Even the people uh, cannot demand the organic food much than inorganic food. So here a good diet will be A good diet and adequate food supply are central for promoting health and well-being. A shortage of food and a lack of variety causes malnutrition and deficiency diseases. Means frequently consuming of liking food and avoiding remaining foods, which leads to a malnutrition. And excess intake also leads to malnutrition. And if excess intake of any oils, it will take uh, means it will be a forming of cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, cancer, degenerative eye diseases, obesity, and dental caries. So what will be happening means in the physiology side. So if we are taking consuming of more food, there is inside in the stomach there is no place, means we can consume by the sensation and triggering of our psychological feeling. We consume much food and taking into the stomach, but the stomach acids will not come more. How much the capacity will be there, that much acids will come regularly, and remaining, if we are taking excessively, it will be spoiled in the stomach itself. The food how much we are consumed, that will be spoiled itself in the stomach, and the people will get diarrhea, dysentery, like this will happen. In long range, it will be leads to obesity, forming of cardiovascular diseases, and there is diabetes due to there is due to the pancreatic enzymes will not come properly. So there is a risk of these diseases. The poor tend to substitute cheaper processed foods, high fat intake almost in all social groups. So, and processed starchy food, refined sugars and salts will be there. So the food which it is coming available in the markets, that mostly processed food is available, and there is a chemical laden food is there, that I said previously about inorganic and organic food. Due to that, what will happen, the immunity will get reducing, and less organic food available, and costly and healthy, and uh, I said you previously about this organic food that is very costly, and it is good taste, and it will improve our immunity also. And there is food adulteration also will happen in some areas. Means actual the whatever food we are consuming, to increase the quantity and quality of that product, they are adulterating that food with some other non-eatable things. That is called as food adulteration. For example, mirchi powder is adulterating with brick powder, red brick powder, like this, and pepper is adulterated with papaya seeds, black seeds will be there. No? They are mixing with that and increasing the quantity of that pepper seeds. So like this they are doing. And in what are the policies required here means local, national and international government agencies, non-governmental organizations and the food industry should ensure the availability of high quality fresh food, fresh food to all, regardless of their circumstances, democratic decision making and accountability in all food regulation matters, with the participation by all stakeholders, including consumers. Support for a sustainable agriculture and food production methods that conserve natural resources and the environment. The protection of locally produced foods from the inroads of the global food trade. A stronger food culture for health, fostering people's knowledge of food and nutrition, cooking skills and social value of preparing food and eating together. So this cooking skill is much required. Why? Because always doing frying, canning. So if we are doing keep it in a refrigerator for a long time, it will may leads to it is decomposed. Even we are consuming by that color and we are eating, but it will give a ill effect to our health. So we have to know what is the cooking process, that skill is required, and how much we have to know the percentage of thing, how much is required for a person, and how much I should prepare today. So how much rice is required, how much vegetables is required, how many fruits is required. So that each things we have to know about this. So that awareness is required in the community, and the availability of useful information about food, diet, and health is required. The use of scientifically based nutrient reference values and food based dietary guidelines to facilitate the development and implementation of policies on food and nutrition. So coming to the last topic, that is about transport facility and transport. So healthy transport means reducing driving and encouraging more walking and cycling, backed up by better public transport. So here cycling, walking promotes health. We know that very well, but even the very less people only implementing, and provide exercise, reduce time consuming to do exercise, and in new ways techniques can be invented by individual according to his flexibility, reduce fatal accidents, and increase social contact, reduce air pollution, reducing road traffic, and protects against heart disease, limiting obesity, reduces the onset of diabetes, and promotes a sense of well-being, and protects older people from depression, make minimum use of non-renewable fuels, and do not lead to global warming, and do not create diseases from air pollution, make little noise, and are preferable for the ecologically compact cities of the future. And this is about socio-cultural, uh, socio-economic effects on health. So thank you very much for patiently listening.
Thank you, Divya, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Insights into social determinants of health.
Thank you, sir. Sir, if any queries, please ask.
Okay. Let's stop share screen. Okay. So participants, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand or put in chat box so that we can take up queries. Okay, if there are no queries, then it is understood as everyone got the topic and it's clear. So thank you, Divya, once again for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
We thank everyone for joining us, especially today's speakers, Sri R.J. Haribabu Garu, and also Srimati Divya Garu for joining us and for the wonderful sessions. On behalf of Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Thank you one and all. The feedback form has been shared in the chat box. Kindly fill up the feedback form. It is mandatory for receiving certificates. Certificates will be issued within 15 working days. Nowadays, because of continuous program, there is some delay. So don't worry about the certificates. We will issue it. And kindly join Facebook group or Telegram group, whichever is convenient for you. Because a few of the members expressed that they are unable to join or they are not on Telegram. So we have provided both the options. So if possible, join both the Telegram and Facebook groups so that you will get all the updates from time to time. Daily updates are provided there, events, joining links, registration links, and certificate links will be provided on the website as well as in the Facebook group or the Telegram channel. So kindly join these groups to get updates. And as you know, timings are same. Do join at 5:30, and we will have. If there is single session, we will be concluding by 6:30. Otherwise, if there are, I mean, it depends on the speaker how much time it requires. So we are putting the maximum time as time slot, 2 hours, as per the speakers and sessions requirements. Will be concluding accordingly. If we have 2 speakers, then each speaker will be giving accordingly 1 hour or as the session requires. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. Before leaving, kindly do not forget to fill the feedback form. We'll be ending the meeting in a couple of minutes. Kindly fill up the feedback form.